started? Yeah. Okay. Your name is Scott.
Mhm.
Okay. Hi, Scott. Welcome back.
Hi.
How
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm actually doing pretty good. A
Do-
little nervous, but I'm good.
Okay. You look you look great. I like the. I never got to see your hair before, so I noticed you don't have the hoodie anymore.
Yes.
Okay. So today our agenda is going to be, and we talked about this last time.
Mm.
We've completed the homework, your skill building. So we're ready for termination to end therapy sessions. Um, one So what we're gonna do is go over progress. We're gonna go over the skills that you have learned, feelings about terminating therapy, what that looks like for you, and also what it looks like for me. We're going to have the opportunity to share how you feel about your growth in therapy, what changes have happened for you, and we could talk about both the challenges and the like, oh yay, look at me kind of things. Your future goals and how therapy and the skills what you've learned here are going to follow you.
Okay.
And let's see, and then we'll just kind of wrap it up if that's okay. Okay, so we'll get started. So okay, is
Okay.
any concerns or questions before we get started about any safety concerns, anything like that that you want that we need to address before we move forward?
No safety concerns. I would just say, it's just I've just been feeling a little nervous for this day. I know we've talked about it before, and you've I feel like you prepared me for this day, but I'm still really nervous about it. Like those what ifs, like what's gonna happen. So
Okay.
I I guess that's what's probably just had me a little more anxious today and little worried.
Okay, so you're feeling anxious
Mm-hmm.
and you're feeling like, should I feel anxious? Because we've already talked about it.
Right.
Absolutely, it's totally normal because um, we've been seeing each other consistently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of been like a routine, a habit, and change is hard. So going back to when we first met,
Mm-hmm.
we were kind of on the fence if we even wanted to change what we were doing, right? So
Right.
when we first came in, we could start there. Is you were in a place that you were avoiding coming to school. You were avoiding talking to your peers, being in the same area as they were. And when I challenged you or asked you to be present with your peers for a certain amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
um, use the deep breathing skills. That was something that was
It's really helpful.
helpful,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same, when you first started, it was kind of awkward, right? And I remember, I think after the first homework session, you had done it twice because it was still not comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So nervous feeling, absolutely. I would be concerned otherwise. Okay.
And it helps. It does help the deep breathing, and I know there's been progress.
How
It's
do
just
you know that there's been progress?
well, like you pointed out, I haven't been wearing my hoodie. I think my hoodie used to kind of help me stay away from people. So
Okay.
that's something I know we talked about the last time,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've been practicing that more. To kind of be able to talk to other people, and it's been helping.
So you're presenting yourself more.
Mm-hmm.
You're engaging in social interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Is that at school?
Yeah, a little at school, but I
Okay.
think I'm not as nervous being going into a room with people. Um, I mean, I get nervous. I am nervous, but I am able to do it now. When before I would avoid it.
Okay. And so you're noticing that there's a decrease in the avoidant behavior.
Mm-hmm.
What about you were having really bad stomach pains. How has that been for you?
It's still there, but I feel like when I do a lot of the deep breathing and kind of start trying to start working on calming my body down, and doing the grounding techniques have been really helpful with my stomach aches and
Okay.
like helping me make it through the pain and the discomfort.
Okay. So would you say that the stomach pains happen less frequent? Okay.
Is they're there, but it's not intense. Like it's not as bad. So
Okay. Perfect. So how do you feel about so you've shared like this, you're feeling nervous about this being your last session. So
happy, but I like coming in and talking with you. You helped me a lot. Um, I see how I've changed, so I thank you for that. But I still like, okay, what about if it happens again? What am I gonna do?
there's a lot of what ifs.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad to hear that you felt found this to be helpful and an enjoyable process. I've enjoyed it as well, so I have enjoyed to see the growth in you. So okay, so then let's see. You mentioned you enjoyed working with me, so I feel like we were able to build rapport. With rapport, there's trust building, right, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, right, and that's tough. That's tough for anyone. And so with that can come both. It could come as in this session being the last session, it could be something that can be feel something very positive because there is a working relationship and it's a positive and healthy working relationship that we have going on. But at the same time, oddly enough, there's a negative feeling towards it. There can be feelings of nervous, right? There could be a sense of loss. There can be other feelings that you might not even understand or realize that you're even feeling. So with this transition, this termination of therapy, you've I've seen different things happen with you, but I want you to tell me in your own words. We can start with like positives. What are some of the positive things that you see with terminating therapy?
I would say the positive is that it just kind of demonstrates how or shows how the changes I made, and so that's a big deal, especially when I didn't want to do a lot of things and or go in the large settings, in large rooms with people. I think other people have noticed the change in me, so it still is nerve wracking. People noticing it and giving me that attention, but it also sometimes deep inside makes me feel good.
So there's a sense of validation, right? And that was one of your coping skills was to avoid because any attention was uncomfortable. And it sounds like through this process you have learned to in small steps to be okay with some of the attention and that feels good. Okay.
It's been hard, but I think just working at it and using the techniques that we kind of learned in sessions have really, the deep breathing, like I said, and the grounding, the different grounding techniques. Like when I find myself like feeling overwhelmed, doing the looking around, trying to find the right thing. So I think the deep breathing is the one that's very helpful because sometimes people can't tell that I'm even doing it. Like
Sure. Okay. And I want to know if how much of it sounds like you sound like really confident with the deep breathing technique and the grounding, which I really appreciate, and I'm glad that you find that beneficial. But one of the things that we also talked about was recognizing our thoughts and how we're feeling and how we act, right? So we went in depth and we practiced that with our homework and stuff. So what is happening that you're able to recognize your triggers?
There's sometimes that I don't. I mean, but I'm able to work through it. I'm able to. I don't get overwhelmed with it. But practicing it and just stopping and like taking the time to keep writing it down has been helpful. It's something I want to keep. I want to keep trying to do because I'm finding there's different things that triggers that my anxiety or where I don't want to be around people. So if I write it down, the next time I'm able to kind of be able to work through it. So it's that's definitely something I want to keep practicing.
So you're using your skills, so the journaling's helping to, okay. What about in the moment when you're grounding, is that a time what does that look like for you when you catch yourself like grounding? What is that? Can you play that out for me?
What do you mean, like?
So, good question, right? And there's a lot going on for our last thing, so I'm sure there's stuff going through your mind, but I'm thinking more of being able to, you're remembering to write down this stuff, but it sounds like something that's happening and you are not even realizing that you're catching your body starting to, your stomach
my
starting
stomach
to hurt.
It's my stomach,
And
that's a big
you're catching like, oh, my stomach's hurting and now I'm feeling anxious
I
because
feel tight sometimes too, like I want to just climb up and then like right now I don't have my hoodie, so that used to help me just kind of close off, and
right?
so I don't have that anymore, so that I'm noticing more how when my body starts to kind of get really tense.
So your body's starting to get tense and then your thoughts start to change. And so it sounds like you're able to really check what your thoughts are. Are they really talking about me? Are they really laughing about me? Or is it me just being uncomfortable? And then you're able to, it sounds like you're able to work to check your thoughts, but also help yourself, calm down with the grounding or the other deep breathing.
Yes.
So you must master it because you don't even realize you're doing it. It sounds like.
I don't know. Sometimes it's hard. There's days that are harder than others, but
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm getting there. I'm just practicing. I just keep thinking, okay, I got this, and I'll be able to do this.
Well, there you go. Positive affirmations go a long ways. I am glad to hear that. Okay, and some of the negatives of terminating therapy. What is that? What are? That's a good way to say. Like, are you seeing like anything bad about terminating therapy?
Really, the only thing I just worry about is like, what about it if I'm not able to control or handle these feelings, or like, am I able to come back, or like, what can I do? Like, I'm afraid of what that might be or what that would look like. Like, I don't, who am I supposed to call? I kind of here I just would look forward to seeing you the next week. So then that way you can help me work through it. So now it's like, who am I gonna have to help me do that? So that's probably the hardest part.
And that's a fair fair concern. That's a fair worry. I think where you talked about, especially when we were first getting started with, I have an open door policy, right? If I'm here and I'm not seeing somebody, come on in, even if it's just to say hi, right? But at the throughout our time together, it's always been an option for you if you're having a bad day to come in and let's do a check-in and see what this is really about, right? And that is something that is open to any of our students, right? So if you're struggling, there's myself and there's we have other support here that can do it. You can check in with. So termination just is not something where I won't know you anymore, right? And you won't know me. We had significant role together, and but at the same token, also when you came to this school, everything was new to you, and that was a big adjustment, and that was one of the main reasons that you came. Your parents referred you to come in to see to talk to me or to someone, and who's to say? I mean, honestly, it sounds like you're on track to passing on to the next grade. I think we're going into junior year. And so junior year comes, now you're an upperclassman, right? And those are some different expectations from your teachers, different expectations for parents. You'll maybe have different expectations and goals for yourself at that point. So with that being said, what I'm trying to say is that there's always going to be change, and there's always going to be challenges, and there's always going to be things that are uncomfortable. What I want you to take away from that is those can be perceived as negative things, but with our time together and the growth that you have shown is that you're able to recognize when you find something that's challenging, and you have the skill set to go ahead and use those different strategies to get you through those different situations. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's where you're at?
I feel prepared, which is still scary, but
Sure, and recognizing that, right? We're not gonna. I don't want you to sit here and pretend like it's gonna be easy. Everything's great. I'm never gonna have a different challenge ever. I'm never gonna feel nervous again, because I don't want that for you either, right? I want you to be able to be challenged and know that, okay, I gotta put in some work, and that's normal. That's very normal to feel challenged or nervous about different situations. Okay. Let's see. I want to talk about. Sorry for hitting my hand right now. I want to talk about. We've talked about your gains, right? So that what does that mean? Your gains in as far as what since starting until present, what kind of things have, and you kind of mentioned some of them, but what kind of things have gotten better for you since starting therapy, as far as specifically to with being able to manage the social anxiety?
Well, I go into like places that I never would even try to, like the cafeteria. I didn't want to go before. Would even get scared going into class when everyone's in there already. So I used to try to go in before, but now I can walk in. If I'm late, I wouldn't want to go into a room. So now I'm able to. It's still scary, but I mean, I'm able to finish it. At home, my parents tell me all the time how I'm doing, like how they see my improvement, and they notice different things about me too.
Okay, so being showing up to school, which was a big concern, right? We were having some truancy concerns, and then your social relationships, right? Your parents were obviously concerned. You were less involved with your family, more withdrawn, and it was a choice that you were making to avoid this feeling of worry, anxiety, nervousness, right? And you're saying that you're able to go into the cafeteria and and have lunch like the other students. Is there anything now with that that you're looking forward to? when it's lunchtime, is there any?
I'm talking to people now more a little. Not a lot of people, but I do make conversations with people now.
Okay, all right. So you're getting to know your community, right? Your peers. Have you noticed anything about them that you didn't notice before?
Um, what do you mean, like?
Have they, like, when you say hi or start small talk with them, do you realize then that, hey, they didn't even notice I always wear my hoodie or anything like that?
No, I mean they pointed out like that they had wanted to try to talk to me, but I think because I would just avoid a lot of people, they didn't want to approach me, I guess. But now I didn't think that I would have so much in common with some people.
Okay.
So we actually like the same music,
Okay.
and so they talked to me about music, and because I like music, so it makes the conversation easy. Like we get us talking about it. I know it doesn't feel weird.
It doesn't feel weird. Okay, so you're finding common ground in these with your peers. Have you been able to like rebuild any of the friendships that you had before you started?
No, I really didn't know a lot of people, but I feel like I'm getting to know people, and I'm letting people get to know me.
Okay, that's a good step.
Like I said, I never thought, and now it's different, it's weird, but it's cool. It's cool.
Okay, I like that. Thank you. Let's see. So you've improved on getting out of your comfort zone. That and that was one of the things that we worked on, right? To go ahead and try to approach at least one or two peers and just at least say hi. It sounds like you surpassed that. You're like talking about common interest, getting to know other people. Is anything about these changes in yourself making it easier for terminating therapy?
I guess just I mean I'm not by myself anymore, so I guess I can ask maybe some of the people I meet if I'm having a hard time, maybe.
Okay.
Like, to help me, or I think I trust this one guy. He's my friend Michael, and so maybe Michael. I mean, would that be what I need to do? Like to find somebody else, or what should I do?
No, that's a great question. And so what I'm hearing is that you are you've made a friend here at school, which is something that we weren't sure was going to happen, right? We were just trying to at first get you to school, and now you have a friend. So
my attendance been good.
You're okay. All right. No, I haven't checked, but that's good to hear. Careful. But what it sounds like, how long have you been friends with Michael? Would you say?
No, just probably the last maybe 2 months, or a month maybe.
Okay.
I think a month maybe.
A month and a half, two, whatever. So what that looks like is that not only were you able to make a friend, but you were also able to maintain a friendship, right? And I could assume that maybe Michael and you don't have every class together, right? But it sounds like that's not something that you're worried about, that Michael is not going to come and seek out your friendship or hang out with you, right? And so that might be a way to look at our working relationship, right? Like, I will still be here doing my job, and you're going to be here as a student doing your job. And with that mindset, termination doesn't have to sound so negative, because terminations has such a negative connotation, right?
Yeah.
Like, terminate your, usually
Like
people
done, finished. I thought we were never
you're
gonna see each
fired.
other again.
Yes, absolutely. So with that, with something for you to reflect on is that with your ability to check your thoughts and your behaviors and manage those symptoms and those thoughts and challenging them, you've able to grow and gain friendship, right? Improve attendance. And so moving forward, although you have completed your time here in therapy, it's not going to be something negative. It's going to be something not so scary, because you have built that foundation of strategies to move on onto other bigger things, if you
Yeah.
will. Okay. With that being said, I want to take this opportunity to share, if you're okay with it, my reflection on this working relationship and
Okay.
and my thoughts. So be honest with you, I was let me put my words. I'm always looking forward to meeting a new person. And when you came through my door and I got the referral, and I didn't really know what to expect, right? I didn't know if it was gonna be somebody who was going to be not ready for change, right?
Mm.
And you know, to really gauge where you were on the stages of change. We weren't sure. You showed up, and I wasn't sure. It's because parents made you show up, right? But for whatever reason, you showed up, and I appreciated that. I never know what's going to stick and what's not going to stick, and I felt very validated as a therapist to when you were willing to at least give it a shot, right? And that was in my opinion, is that was a step forward for you, right? And then you kept showing up, not for me though, but for you, and being able to see you grow as a student, as a young man, in ways that I could see from the beginning, very capable of, right? You did this, and you did this on your own, right? I was here to support and guide, but at the end of the day, you had to show up to class, and you had to initiate those conversations and practice those skills, right? And so I commend you for that. You did really, really well. You exceeded my expectations, if you will, because not too many, even grown-ups, want to do homework, right? Especially when it could feel like we're criticizing ourselves, right? And it could have easily gone that way, but you chose to go and find the good in how you were going to manage your emotions and how you're going to move forward with this. So I feel like with that being said, your future is looking really bright, really, really, really exciting for you, because you have the skill set, and you have the motivation, and you have the insight to I feel comfortable with saying that you will be able to take on new stressors in life and push through them. How does that make you feel hearing that?
Thank you. I didn't look at it everything that you said in that way. So it feels weird hearing other people, point out things, but it's cool that somebody's noticed it, the change.
Besides your parents, right?
Yeah, even though that's who wanted me to come. So I think it's just all been very helpful. Still, like I said, it still gets very overwhelming, but I think I can get through it. I think I'm just, what kind of like, what on the, I know you said I could come in whenever, but what about, like, what else should I be doing? Like, is there something else that I should be doing, or is there, I don't know, if in case it gets too much for me.
Okay. Let me ask you, what would it gets to be too much? What is? Tell me more what that would look like for you.
I don't know. Like, what about if I go back to doing this to my old ways, like of like avoiding people and doing all that. What should I do then?
Okay, and that's a great question, and that's normal to feel like, oh my gosh, what if I slip, right? And I go back
to the old me.
The old you, right? No, and there's nothing wrong with the old you, because that old you is still you, right? And you still have the insight and you have the motivation to know that you can push through it, and you don't have, and it doesn't have to be hard, right? And that's one of the things that we have to remind ourselves. Life doesn't have to be so hard all the time. If we use the skills that we have, the knowledge that we have, then we can face challenges that we didn't think we could, right? And so that's normal. I hear what you're saying is that, what do I do, right? If I am a junior now, and it's it's too much. There's now people really know me because Michael has friends, and Michael's friends want to know me, and things start moving too fast. Let's say, you'll get that feeling, right? But you recognize that feeling. You've already shared that you can feel your heart going faster. You can feel you get kind of clammy, kind of sweaty. Oh, we took too long. Okay. So you will use the growth that you had here in therapy, and you will remember those skills, but you'll also have to know that sometimes we will fall back, right? And with that being said, that's okay. We just because you had therapy doesn't mean that nothing's going to be too big for you to handle. And if that's the case, then that would be a new set of concerns that we could address at that time.
Okay.
Does that make what I mean? So you come back and we go over what challenges you're facing, and we make a plan for that. But I feel comfortable with, you'll have the foundation again of the coping strategies to move forward.
That makes sense. Okay.
So you have the foundation. So I want to encourage you to use those skills in real life. I want you to take those next year into junior year in high school. Maybe rekindle some friendships that you had when you were younger that you were do gaming stuff with, and see what how those new behaviors work for you in those situations. Okay. Let's see. You keep asking about what ifs, right? There's going to be what ifs. Tell me some of the resources that we talked about that have helped you, or that were there. So we talked about that. We have an open door policy here,
right? I know there's a hotline.
Correct.
Maybe talk to my parents.
And you've mentioned that your support system that you've
my
built.
Parents and my new friend, Michael.
Michael, your parents, the 988 number, right? Coming here to class or to here on campus. So use your resources. That's what they're for. That's why they're resources. So to wrap it up. Your achievements. Remember your achievements. You've learned some coping strategies. You've your academics and your education is now improved. Your relationships are improved, and as are your personal growth is really gonna be something imperative that you remember to implement in everyday real life situations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So use your accomplishments, use your achievements, and continue to thrive. Do you have any other questions or anything that we need to discuss before we say our goodbye?
No, I
For
just
now.
thank you for everything.
No, yeah, and thank you for showing up. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay.